Hello, and welcome back to It's Not Just a Tuesday podcast, the podcast where we talk about work and life and the stories that connect us all. Today, I am joined by me, talking to me about life. Today's podcast is going to be a little more life than work, but I think they're both always the same. And it's going to be a mini because I'm going to be really honest. I have 7 minutes on this Tuesday to talk to you. And so for the next 7 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about some things that I think are really important to us as we navigate through sharing our stories and how to share our stories and this whole big world of work-life balance and professionalism. I cannot believe that it's already this many episodes into having this podcast. I am so honored that people have come and hung out with me. There are some other really cool podcasts coming along the way. One thing that has been a constant theme is that I love connecting with really cool people, and also people who have spent time really getting to know who they are and cultivating their story, not always because they want to share it, but always because when we find out our stories, we find out more about who we are and we find out how our past dictates our future and how our past helps us to either lean into something about our story or overcome something about our story. And yesterday I was talking to my team about this and about the podcast and what we hope comes of people sharing their stories. And one thing that one of the women on my team said was, "You've got such a cool story. I think you should share more of it." And I thought to myself, like, it stuck with me. It has stuck with me for a day because I thought to myself, wait, I thought I already shared my story. And she's with me all the time, and she follows my social media and she hears about my life outside of that. And I thought, wow, there are still pieces that she doesn't think I'm sharing. And I really think I'm intentional about being authentic and real and things like that. What it reminded me was that in the process of sharing who we are, even if we're okay with being authentic about it, sometimes we forget that there are details about us that make us really who we are, that we forget to say, that we forget to talk about. And most often, it's because the world doesn't talk about them. And it's not really normal to share those pieces. And so I'm going to encourage you today to do the thing that I'm about to do, which is to tell a piece of my story that is not always the most popular, but is really always a driver for me in most of the decisions that I make. If you know me, you know that I deal with and have dealt with my entire life several mental health issues. I'm really honest about this. If you followed me for any amount of time on social media, or if we know each other, if we're friends, you know that I am really open about the fact that mental health is really important, not because I think it's a trend, but because it is essential to me doing life well. I'm really honest about the fact that the reason that I work for myself is because I have to have some flexibility in my schedule to accommodate for some executive functioning things that just run out quicker than other people. What I will say is that I discovered this week at 41, after having many diagnoses over the years, that I have some pretty active, aggressive, and at the moment, angry ADHD. That diagnosis came late in life when I was 40 of ADD. And what it reminded me as I spoke with a therapist this week and talked to my team about my story is that there are still some things that are taboo to say in the professional world. And so I've decided that today I'm going to say it to the, 6 people who listen to this podcast, and I'm going to be intentional about sharing those things. The reasons that I don't share them is because we still have so many stigmas around the talent and the consistency and the ability to be successful that come with social media talking about mental illness. We're okay with talking about it, but we may not hire somebody who is that way. We may not hire someone who takes a mental health day once every month, right? And I want to change that. And I was reminded with the "you should tell more of your story" piece from somebody who knows what I deal with, that I'm falling victim to also still just hiding this stuff, right? Hiding the thing that I think actually makes me really great, and I think makes me the creative, intense, passionate, compassionate, empathetic person that I am, right? The reason that I love telling people stories is because I love connecting with people, and I can feel what other people feel often. But with that comes some exhaustion at times, right? With that drive and that passion is what you see in adult women, which I just discovered this week as part of this symptom. It's my personality is also part of a symptom. And wow, what a freedom to know that if I can just be okay with who I am, I can not only do life better, but hopefully weed out the folks that aren't going to really value the work that I do, and weed out the folks that aren't going to be the right friend, right? We're really good at finding out what people align with us in lots of different areas about political and moral and life, right? But we're not always really great about saying, this is who I am and how I do work. And if you can embrace that really well, I will be able to do beautiful things for you. I will be able to work really well for you and with you. My clients love the work that I do. I have a team that supports me really well. It has been amazing being able to grow a business and see it succeed. The only reasons that that works is because I'm constantly trying to take a step back and say, how do I do this better? I just got off of a podcast with someone who was talking about, and this will be out in a couple of weeks. And one of the things that he said was, I'm really good about charging people $250 an hour um, to, for me to coach them. But I'll spend 8 hours like raking my leaves. And I think that that isn't justifiable equivalent of time. Now, if you really like raking your leaves, then awesome, go for it. If that time is well spent because you need that time to detox, but at the same time, if that really takes from you and that drains from you, are you asking someone else to do it? Right? I'm learning to practice what I preach. I tell my clients to outsource the things that you're not great at, or outsource the things that you could be using your time better spent doing something else, right? It's the whole reason consultants succeed, is because we tell people to outsource. Well, I have learned to practice what I preach, right? I have learned to teach outsourcing, but also do that. And the reason that I've learned that is because I have learned my limitations. And I think that when we can celebrate both the things that are great about us and our limitations, we can really do life so well. So I encourage you on this Tuesday, on this mini, it's not just a Tuesday, it's 8 minutes in, that if you can take some time today to really think about, what am I great at? But what am I the most embarrassed about? What do I feel like are my biggest limitations? And how can I lean into those and either find a way to accommodate those so that I work better around them and with them? Or how do I learn what needs to happen to make myself better in those spaces? And whatever that looks like, don't be scared of it, do it. But also, let's not be embarrassed about our Tuesdays. I met with my therapist on Tuesday, and then I met with 3 clients, and then I had an amazing night with my kid, and I had dinner with my husband. My Tuesdays are great, but I will choose to be intentional about the pieces of our Tuesdays that we also hide. Obviously, you have a personal life, and that's okay. And you don't need to share everything. But I don't want the reason that you don't share, and that the reason that something is not a part of your brand, to be because you are embarrassed or you think society's not ready to hear it. So coming from the 41-year-old mom in the suburbs who worked really hard to get to the suburbs and have a podcast and have her own business because she dealt her whole life with PTSD and depression and anxiety and newly discovered ADHD. You can celebrate even the things that you are embarrassed about, because those are the things that also make you pretty awesome and make you who you are. Have an amazing Tuesday. We'll be back to chatting with awesome people that I love to talk to, and I can't wait for you to hear the next episode. If you have ideas for episodes or questions about work and life and balance and stories, please let me know. There is a book on my website called Authentic Branding that you are able to download for free that I would love to share with you. It is all about how to find out what your story is and consistently share it, whether you're a professional or a business owner or just want to get better at connecting with people on social media or through networking. Please feel free to download that. That is free. That is a little more professional in tone, and you'll be able to learn some things that will hopefully help you share. But in the meantime, take a minute to pat yourself on the back, give yourself some grace, enjoy who you are, and celebrate that your Tuesday is really important, regardless of what your Tuesday looks like. It is really important. You are needed. You are valued. The reason that I want to share more stories about Tuesdays is because I believe that every Tuesday, every person's Tuesday is so important. Have a great Tuesday. I'll see you on another one.